going live a lot more often. I want to do these lives so that I can help people and I can answer questions while I'm going through them. So I'm going to need to figure out what times are best. I want to do them twice a week. So if you're watching this on the replay, make sure you put in the comments what time would be good for you, keeping in mind that I am Mountain Standard Time in North America. So what I'm going to need is for you to make sure that I'm not trying to start this at 1 a.m. and I'm not trying to get out of bed at 4 a.m. So like any times outside of that are probably reasonable to suggest. Like I said, I'm going to try to do 2 Q&A lives twice a week. And I'm always going to have something prepped like I have today. So what I want to do today is Mautic forms in a WordPress site. So what I've got here is a brand new WordPress site. Blank Mautic, no forms. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a brand new form in this Mautic instance. I'm going to embed it in this WordPress site. So to do it the way I've been doing it recently, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to go to Appearance and Themes. We're going to pick the theme we want. So I'm going to click Add New. I'm going to type Hello, looking for Hello Elementor. I'm going to install. And I'm going to activate. And it's going to say Install Elementor, so I'm going to let it. And I'm going to activate it. I'm going to go back to Themes, because it is not a good habit to keep lots of themes that you aren't going to use. And I'm going to take 2019. I'm going to delete it because I don't like it. And I'm going to take 2020 and I'm going to delete it because I don't like it either. And then I'm going to hit update on 2017 because it needs an update. And what do you know? I would rather have an updated theme as a fallback theme, just in case. Now at this moment, I would often create a child theme of Hello. It is such an interesting debate because of the way you work with Hello, so whether you actually need a child theme, but that is my best practice typically, so normally I would. After that, I'm going to go to Plugins. I'm going to delete Akismet Anti-Spam. I'm going to delete Hello Dolly. If I were doing this myself, for me to actually run this site, I would now be installing Short Pixel and Elementor Pro and on and on, because I am not doing this for that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add the Mautic plugin. I don't use this plugin always, but like if I'm just doing one simple site, it's a pretty go-to. Because this was released just like a day ago, I would be reluctant to do this typically. Now in this case, because we're just doing an example, I'm just going to do it, get it out of the way, as it shouldn't affect me too greatly. Look, it still looks like Hello Elementor. I'm going to go to Settings. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check these 2 boxes. So where we're at with this is without going pro, you could do everything I'm going to show you. And so I'm going to attempt to do this without going pro, but I typically always use pro. So if that makes sense, you'll see that I normally don't have to go pro because I've obviously already signed in and used my pro account. The first page I'm going to go and make, add new, and this is my styles page. And why does this say schedule? Publish immediately. What did they change? That's insane. Anyways, so they changed the way this works. Now you always schedule a post. I guess that if I want to schedule it immediately, it makes sense. So the first thing I do typically as I go and I set this to Elementor full width. Not that it makes a huge difference. We can get rid of the title, and that is typically what I want is the built-in header, because Pro you can build a header and a footer in the template builder. I can appear and I go to the theme style. But what did I forget? I forgot to drop what I need on the page. So I'm going to make a first one. I'm going to create 6 of these. And so I'm going to just duplicate it. So that's Control D. Then you see it's selected. Control D, I'll duplicate it. There's 6 of them. This one's going to be an H1. This one's going to be an H2. This is going to be an H3. Can you guess where I'm going with this? So no, I don't always do all the way to H6. It's not a bad idea. And if I'm not feeling the rush, I'll typically do what I'm doing now, and I'll make sure I put everyone on. But the one you care about right now is the button. Again, I always use Pro, so I'm about to look at this, and if the form styling isn't there, I might go put Pro on so you can see the form styling. I personally think that Pro is essential, and so you should almost always use it, but and images. I'm going to put this above that image, just so these are all together. Update it. Now I'm going to go back to theme style. So what you end up with is what you're seeing here. And you can use this to essentially style your form. So we're going to deal with buttons and form fields specifically, but if you went to typography and you picked body text, and you change the default font family here. Let's make it so every paragraph text you put out, one of these changes. So there's all the text on the page is changing. I want my links to be green. Improve that by, so this is now green. Now obviously that's going to change when I deal with the button. You want your H1 to be blue. And you want the font to be, right, so you can set all these so they come out default. And so you end up with this nice pre-set for all your stuff. So that's just like the thought process there that I'm going through. Once I get that out of place, we'll go on to, and for the form specifically, this is where we need to be. So the first thing I normally do is I set my text color to whatever I'm going to want it to be. And if I want this button to be black, and then I typically tell it to have a border type. And I do this because if I make it the same color as the background, then when I go to my hover, and I make the text color black, the background color white, and I give it a border that's also black again, with that effect. The second thing that I'm going to do here is on hover, I would normally add a box shadow. I normally do it horizontal and vertical, about 6. I really like that, and this applies also to your button, right? So that's a big win. And then for your form fields, you end up in the same place. You can change the label color. You can change the typography. You can change the background when they are focused. You can change the padding of the form. You can change the way the form borders work. And that all like really simplifies the way all this stuff looks together. So once I'm happy, I'll hit update here. We will need some custom CSS typically. They don't let you add it here, so you'll have to do it through the theme. Typically what I'll do is I will add the custom CSS here for spacing out a standard Mautic form. I've got a standard one written. I'll add Pro and I'll show you how to do that if anybody asks in the future, or maybe even on this one yet. I think I can do it with the free one when I'm in the form. All right. So let's hit the X here. We're coming back out. Big win, big go. And we're moving on to actually creating that first page. It's going to be our form page. I'd normally leave this page as is, exit the dashboard, and I create a new page, because then anytime you want to change your styles and see your styles in one place, you can come here, and that's going to be really helpful for when you're building a consistent web design in the future. Mautic form page. Schedule it immediately. And we'll add it with Elementor. We need a short code for the Mautic form. Typically, I would make sure that I had this as Elementor full width. We'll put a title above it. Wicked Mautic styling. All right, so review the page. Oh, it looks like nothing. Perfect. We're going to go to our settings. We're going to configure this Mautic to work. We're going to go dunk, dunk. And I always embed it in the footer because I don't like embedding in the header. I don't track user information if the user's logged in. That's entirely up to you whether you want to or not. Here's the form shortcode that we're going to want to use. So again, just copying that. Back to our page. Edit. We're going to paste the shortcode. Ready. Now we're going to take this one and point this out because this will get you later if you're not configured. We go down to cores, paste it. There we go. That's my, and I get rid of that trailing slash. I've had weird things happen if I leave it in place, so just get rid of it. It's easy enough. We go to components and forms, and this is one of the things that you're going to work with a lot if you're actually running a Mautic instance. We're going to create a new form. I never create campaign forms, which is going to cause somebody to scream and shout and pout, but I can't start a campaign without a campaign form. Doesn't matter. Complete rubbish, total horseshit, doesn't matter. Because you can change, well, let's go in and take a look at it. Example, Mautic form. Because your actions after can change a person's segments, or it can change a contact's tags, there's no reason at all to worry about whether or not you can launch a campaign directly using your form submit as a trigger. And it's my experience that using it as a trigger becomes a crutch that leaves you not segmenting as best you can, because you should know what it means when somebody submits this specific form. So I will almost always modify context tags. Okay, so there's my new tag. This tag is going to create a filtered segment, because all the segments So now you'd use this segment for your campaign, if that were what you're going to do. I'm going to come back to my forms. And obviously we lost the one we were working on, so back to standalone. Again, set the tag. Whoop, we've done the tag. I'm going to make this a text field. And I'm not going to make that required because it doesn't seem like it needs to be, since I don't really care about it entirely. And we'll talk about that in another video. Here we see form 1. Here we see that I've got form ID 1. I'm going to update this. I'm going to review the page. And so right now what you're seeing is the styling, once again, coming from Mautic. More than it's coming from WordPress. And what you want to do is you want to go to edit. It says render style. Right now you haven't chosen one, so it's sort of not rendering a style, but it is still rendering a bunch of styles, which is nice if you're on an HTML page and you don't want to manually make sure you have all those styles. But because Mautic is managing all this, so remember what we're seeing, you see that's not black, you see. As soon as you uncheck this and you save and you close, when you refresh, your style now belongs to the styling that you put in Elementor. So if we go back to editing this page, and we edit with Elementor, I don't know why I didn't have the edit with Elementor in the top there. Maybe something's changed in 5.5. We can add a little bit of CSS. Now, part of the problem with that is you're going to end up doing one of these. So you can see your form. Like I said, you're going to probably do a bunch of default styling. Well, I can't do custom CSS here, so I'll end up doing it at the theme level probably. But to get the different classes that you're going to need, inspect. Now when you look, you've got a class of Mautic, like a form button. So the first thing I do is I take form button, I copy it, knowing that if I go to customize here, I definitely get the opportunity, and I can add additional CSS. Just paste it in, a little love, margin dash top, let's say what, 15 pixels. You see it moves away, and all of a sudden you're able to do things that you wanted to do with this. Width 100%. That when you started, and so all of a sudden you're like, I have all these opportunities. You can change the color of things with this. You can change all the factors with a little bit of CSS, but you've now basically done the styling. And then when you want to go back and do the hard styling, so I published, there's my little bit of additional CSS. That looks pretty sharp. You're ready to go. You can then go back and you're like, oh, you know what? I actually want this to be different when I go to work with there to reload the page, right? Like this isn't exactly what I want it to look like. So what you come back and you do a theme styles. And again, you're gonna have one where you probably sit out here so you can look at it right ways. You know, form fields. I'd like ridiculous padding. I want 25 all the way around. These are going to be big honking fields. When you update, you refresh this and you look again, and you got 25. Like, oh, big honking fields. And you want, like, you can do anything you want. You want the background color on the focus to be this color green, a little transparent. Update that. You come back here, and now you refresh. And so you can do all this styling here, and you can style the button also. So the button's right here. You know what? I want a lot of padding. I want 50 all the way around. Really, really big fat button, right? Refresh. And so you get this this really easy WYSIWYG way to style these forms. Right down to the typography and the buttons and on the form fields, without having to create a full theme. Let's change the label typography to something that's really evident that we changed it. Architect's daughter, yeah, there you go. Oh, we're gonna make it 1.5 M, so it's like big text. Again, we'll just do this. Let's see this. Oh man, it really did change. So now you're on your way to styling this however you want, right here in Mautic, without very much effort, and just completely allowing it to be made as it is. And that's, I think, the easiest way to truly and completely build a form style out of Mautic. And then, like I said, you submit it. I don't think I have it going anywhere, right? So they're submitted. Forms, results. There's me. No contacts there yet. You think, oh, but he added a tag. So I go, look, one of the examples, so bad. And as soon as the cron job fires, I will be a contact in this segment, and I am. And so I'm going to be doing these pretty steady. Like I said, I want to do them twice a week. So if you could pick a day and a time that works best for you, I'm going to kind of try to aggregate that in the comments. And I'm going to come back and get it done just like that. And so that's where I'm at. I appreciate anybody who's watching the replay. You're just as important to me. Make sure you ask those questions below so I have things to think about to do these lives. I want this channel to be built out live from now on, since we're talking about the newest version of Mautic. Right now, what you'll see is I'm running 2.16.2. I've extended my timeout, so I'm probably pretty safe to press the button. They highly recommend you back up beforehand. Caution to the wind. Let's do this right here on the screen. Don't forget to like and subscribe if this type of content is good for you. So here's the scary part. This is the cache that'll fail you out when you're normally updating if you don't extend your PHP timeout. Yeah, it's worked the last few times I've done this. This is a brand new install, and I'm not super worried if I break it now. So I've showed you what I wanted to show you. So let's see if I break it. I didn't. We win. It's updating the database now, and we'll be good to go here in a second. So once again, I appreciate all of you for coming around and being part of this stream. I want to start streaming live more and more and more. And so if you are looking to style forms, if you're looking to create segments, if you're looking to do updates, if you're looking to install Mautic, I'm a guy who does that on a day-to-day basis. So why don't you follow along? Put your big boy pants on. Get ready to send 1 million emails a month, 1 million emails a day if you can get to it. And let's make some net marketing automation happen. Once again, don't forget to like and subscribe. My name is Kevin, and you are watching the Open Source Marketing Dojo channel here on YouTube.